Hey guys, welcome back to a brand new Ninjago video here on the channel. My name is TannerFishies. In today's video, we are going to be discussing a Ninjago fan theory for the entirety of Ninjago Dragons Rising on the part of myself, that of course being the idea that Wu and Garmadon are both mortal avatars for the Source Dragon of Balance, similar to the Arc Dragon of Focus from Ninjago Dragons Rising Season 3 being an avatar for the, Source Dragon of Focus. And there is a ton of evidence to back this up as well, and I very much believe now that this is where the Ninjago Dragons Rising storyline is going. With that in mind, just for a very quick disclaimer, again, this is a Ninjago fan theory on the part of myself. This is not any kind of news. I'm not saying this is confirmed. I'm saying that this is a theory, but there is evidence to back this up. So again, do not take this as fact. This is a theory. Once the video is over, feel free to leave your thoughts on this theory down below in the comments section. So in terms of Wu and Garmadon, like I said, they very much could be mortal avatars for the Source Dragon of Balance. It's not exactly clear how Wu and Garmadon came to be. All we know thanks to Ninjago history is that somehow the first Spinjitzu master simply just spawned Wu and Garmadon. Nothing more, nothing less. The Book of Spinjitzu vaguely suggests that Wu and Garmadon had a mother, but honestly, most of Ninjago history just kind of, again, says that the first Spinjitzu master by himself created Wu and Garmadon. However, what if he had help from the Source Dragon of Balance? More on that momentarily. In terms of Wu and Garmadon's elemental powers, if you will, of creation and destruction respectively, well, they are not your traditional elemental powers. In a lot of ways, they aren't even considered technical elemental powers. As recently revealed, creation nor destruction actually belong to a specific Source Dragon. They are actually, again, not considered technical elemental powers. However, I do believe that instead of them being traditional elemental powers, what if they are, again, a fraction of pure balance as a power? Similar to, again, the Arc Dragon of Focus, whose focus power is not elemental per se, rather is comprised of pure focus energy. Creation and destruction, and by proxy Wu and Garmadon, could be creations of raw balance. It's been mentioned again that the Arc Dragon of Focus only uses a fraction of the actual Source Dragon of Focus's power. This would also line up with the idea that the avatars that the Source Dragons can make are very much just weaker versions of themselves and represent, again, their power, but at a smaller scale. And like I said, creation and destruction are not your traditional elemental powers, meaning they could very well just be representing balance as a concept, tying back to the Source Dragon of Balance. Now, with that in mind, I do believe that it's not just a Master Wu thing. I bet it's both Wu and Garmadon. Both brothers were created to represent, again, one half of the balance necessary for Ninjago to exist. Wu was creation, Garmadon was destruction. It would be rather weird if only Wu was affected here. Obviously, Wu does have ties to the Source Dragon of Balance, more on that here in a second. But considering that the Arc Dragon of Focus is, again, two dragons fused together, would not be surprised if every dragon's mortal avatar, if you will, needs to be a duo or something like that. Speaking of the balanced Source Dragon, maybe its death did ultimately lead to the merge. Ultimately, we know that the balanced Source Dragon did die at some point before the merge happened, so it could have thrown off the cosmic balance, if you will. Wu, being one half of the avatar of the Source Dragon of Balance, could probably sense that something was up, leading to the scene that we saw at the monastery between Wu and Lloyd before the merge happened. Wu, again, could have sensed that the balanced Source Dragon died and naturally would start to panic, knowing that this would greatly affect not only himself, but also the entirety of the Inner Circle of Realms. This could also tie back into the idea that Master Wu caused the merge, because again, if Wu and Garmadon are avatars of the balanced Source Dragon, in a way, they are the balanced Source Dragon. So, if the balanced Source Dragon died and that caused the merge, the balanced dragon is Wu, Wu is the balanced dragon. Naturally, again, that would mean that Wu caused the merge to an extent, albeit not literally per se, but still that would make sense given what Lord Ras has told us. Obviously, Garmadon would be included with that too. like I said. But for the sake of his plan, Lord Ras would obviously run with the narrative that Wu caused the merge. Now, did Wu and Garmadon know about this? If they truly are avatars of the Source Dragon of Balance, probably. Wu must have figured it out at some point, considering that he was panicking again right before the merge happened, possibly sensing that, again, the Balance Dragon was dead. I assume Garmadon would have sensed something similar, but Garmadon was more likely than not near Wu at the time of the Balance Dragon dying, but I'm sure wherever he was, he probably sensed it too, and Wu realized again that the merge was upon them because the Balance Source Dragon was dead. And speaking of the dead Balance Dragon, it is possible that this is how Wu knew about the dead Balance Dragon in Season 3, Part 2, when he led Kai, Cole, and Frack to the location of the Source Dragon of Balance's corpse. He had been trying to lead Cole to this location ever since Dragon's Rising Season 1 because, again, he was trying to lead Cole to his final resting place, all things considered. Now, wrapping up this video by talking about, once again, the creation of Wu and Garmadon here, it's not exactly clear, like I said, how the first Spinjitzu Master made Wu and Garmadon. I would not be surprised if the Source Dragon of Balance worked with the first Spinjitzu Master and lended him some of that balance power, leading to the creation of two sons that needed to represent the balance of Ninjago. Again, one creation, one destruction. The Balance Source Dragon was very much tied to mortals, as the Source Dragons have explained before. I believe it's because, again, he helped in the creation of two of the most influential mortals that Ninjago had ever seen, and worked directly with the first Spinjitzu Master, lending him some of that balanced power to, again, create his two sons, Wu and Garmadon. And they would continue to exist as long as the Source Dragon of Balance existed. But unfortunately, when the Source Dragon of Balance died, that could mean that his avatars, Wu and Garmadon, would be put into limbo. Hence why Wu would be a ghost in Dragon's Rising. His Source Dragon is dead, and as one of the mortal avatars of the Source Dragon of Balance, he naturally could not exist anymore, putting him in this weird state of non-existence. Everything would make sense if Wu and Garmadon turned out to be mortal avatars of the Source Dragon of Balance. Like I said though, this is just a fan theory on the part of myself. I feel like if Ninjago wanted to make this work, they probably could make this work somehow. Is it the most perfect cookie cutter Ninjago theory ever? Definitely not. You could poke holes in this if you really wanted to. However, again, just given everything that we know about Dragon's Rising, it's at least possible, right? Leave all of your thoughts down below in the comments though, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in and checking out this quick Ninjago fan theory. Again, I really like this idea. What exactly do you guys think though? Do you think that Wu and Garmadon could be mortal avatars of the Source Dragon of Balance? Why or why not? And I appreciate you guys tuning in. If you guys enjoyed this one, feel free to like and subscribe, do all that fun stuff, and I will talk to you guys again very, very soon. Peace.